a real estate broker, you got to go to school. You got to get that license.
Mm-hmm.
So the moment you have a license, you're into the tax bracket. There's a book I wrote called The Cash Flow Quadrant,
Mm-hmm.
E, S, B, and the I.
Mm-hmm.
E's and S's go to school, B's and I's don't. So the richest guys on earth didn't finish school. Like B's are like Zuckerberg,
Mm-hmm.
Jobs, Gates, Branson.
Mm-hmm.
And the investors, like Warren Buffett and Soros and all that, they don't pay taxes.
And isn't it, somebody brought this up in the series, because you have people like Buffett who will say, oh, I should be taxed higher. And, he's making these public proclamations when he's already got all this accumulated wealth that he hasn't paid tax on.
No, what he says is he pays more, his secretary,
The secretary pays more
tax
tax than him, and I should be taxed higher.
And if you believe that guy, I mean, I got Santa Claus for you. He is, he's a very smart man.
Of course.
But he comes across as this jolly old Saint Nick,
Mm-hmm.
but he's smart as a whip.
So,
He doesn't send his kids to school either.
I didn't know this.
Yep.
I guess he's got the education they
Correct.
need, right?
I'm just trying to say something, like our school system is part of the system.
Mm-hmm.
And that pumps out Harris, Kamala Harris and Alexa
AOC, yeah.
AOC, and Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, and they're hardcore communists.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with being a communist, but I'm a hardcore capitalist. So we have enough room on this planet for both of us.
Mm-hmm.
But when you don't give a child or student the choice, and all our Rich Dad Company did was give people a choice. Say, you want to be an employee or a specialist, like a doctor or a lawyer, go to school. You want to be rich, like what do you call Zuckerberg or a Jobs, and be like a Buffett or a Soros, Rich Dad.
Mm-hmm.
We're the 5%, and that's all we cater to.
Yeah.
And we're not very popular with the school teachers.
You've got that right for sure.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's my poor dad. They're good people. Don't get me wrong, I'm just saying these are your choices here. And freedom is about choice. But we're not given those choices in school.
Well, what's interesting, because I think to me in the end, because you talk about, like you said, your dad, skilled academic, right? And
Brilliant.
And probably a beautiful soul and caring and et cetera,
Yes.
has a purpose in life and wants to leave the world a better place. So the intentions are all proper, but there's also, I think, in that academic sector, this sort of disdain for the quote-unquote profiteers, the entrepreneurs. Entrepreneur was almost a bad word when I went to school.
It's still a bad word.
Yeah. So it starts to, I think, translate, at least for me, that this starts to become sort of this spiritual issue, right? That I believe that, for the people who were indoctrinated in the system, get out and they're working and they're taxed and they're, all these things go on, that I think it has some sort of adverse impact on the human spirit. It's not just a monetary issue.
Correct. There's 4 different types of intelligences. Number 1 is mental, and that's the academic type. 2 is physical, those are the athletes. 3 is the emotional, and 4 is spiritual. And they're all different intelligences. So the combination of those 4 makes up the human being. So for me, what gives me the advantage is emotional intelligence. See, most people come out of school so terrified of making mistakes. They go, oh, what if I fail? I said, well, if you're not failing, you're not learning it. Oh, what if I fail? In school, you make mistakes, you're stupid. In school, I was very cooperative at test time, but that's called cheating. You know what I mean? Everything is opposite. It's like we're like a parallel universe. E's and S's on one side, B's and I's on the other.
Right.
And all the Rich Dad Company does, hey, look, you want to be E's and S's, go to school. You want to be on the right side, the B and I side, the big business, 500 employees or more. I have thousands of employees. I provide a lot of jobs, so I pay no taxes. I should get that.
Right.
I don't like it when I see people struggling financially. I don't like this gap between the rich and everybody else. I went past the 1% long time ago. I'll give you an example. In the 60s, I'm a child of the Vietnam era guy. I fought in Vietnam, I'm a Marine, I'm a pilot, and all this stuff. But I fought for capitalism. I really did. I sincerely believe that in the American dream. But we don't have financial education. But when I was in Vietnam, there wasn't much of a gap between rich, poor, and middle class. You know, the rich had nicer houses and newer cars. That's about it. Poor guys had junk cars and junk houses. That's about it, though. And then it got to be that as capitalism took off and provided things, so today the poor and middle class, they can afford to travel throughout the world, but they fly on Southwest or discount airlines. So capitalism provided discount travel for the poor and middle class, but the rich fly private jets. Today, the rich have their own rockets and their own satellites. So, do you know what I mean? Guys
Yes.
like Musk provides it. Branson has his own satellites and all this. So I'm going to have my own rocket ship. I just don't have it yet. And that's the beauty of capitalism.
Yeah.
You know, for me to have my own rocket ship and launch my own satellite, I better be doing something.
Yeah.
Now, it's a stupid goal. I don't recommend it. But that's what capitalism is. Whereas socialism, let's take from the rich and give to the poor.
Right.
It's called Robin Hood theory. I don't support that because when I was in Sunday school, I was taught to teach people to fish, not take from the rich and give them fish.
Right.
And so that's where we separate. It's sad to say.